Hey everyone, it's Brano, and today I wanted to talk about alternative progression milestones in video games. So that's a bit of a mouthful, so let's just talk about what a progression milestone is. When you play a game and you beat a level that has a save point, you have just reached a new milestone within that game. Now, so, a primary progression milestone could be something major like beating a dungeon in The Legend of Zelda, or a minor thing like getting a key to unlock a door in The Legend of Zelda. The main thing with primary progression milestones is that they are very deliberate ways of tracking your progress within a video game. Either you have done something or you haven't done something. But for video games that are a little bit more freeform, you will start getting alternative milestones that really signify progression without you deliberately programming it to be that way. So I wanted to give a number of examples with my favorite game of all time, World of Warcraft, the original. So in 2023, I made this video on WoW's gearing system is actually incredibly clever. And I talked about things such as when you open up your character panel, you'll see that you don't have a lot of gear and you have a lot of gear slots. But what they cleverly did was make it so that a bunch of these slots, you can't actually get items for them until level 15, level 25, and level 35. And so you have these unlocked item slots, and it takes a very long time before you get gear for them. Now, I'm not sure if I would call this an alternative progression milestone, but I would say it's somewhere in between a primary progression milestone and an alternative progression milestone. What I wanted to talk about was an actual alternative progression milestone, and that is with this slot right here, which is the cloak slot. So a cloak just goes on your back, gives you armor and some attributes. And as you can see, this cloak right here, which you get at very low levels, isn't really a cloak. Like, you'd barely even call this a cloak visually. Like, what even is that? That's tiny. And at level 13, you still have these tiny cloaks. At level 15, you still have these tiny cloaks. But at level 20, what they did is make it so that the cloaks actually began to look like cloaks. And so there becomes this big alternative progression milestone where you equip a cloak that actually looks like a cloak. And a lot of people really resonated with this, which is like, oh my god, I got my first long cloak in the game. And this is just an amazing alternative progression milestone, because you're barely even coding it. It's like implied progression that, you're getting more powerful, but people love stuff like this. Now, that is more of a visual example of an alternative progression milestone. I wanted to now show you a mechanical alternative progression milestone. And this is with the fight Ragnaros the Fire Lord. So this is the final boss of the first raid. And you can see right here that he is a gigantic fire elemental that you can't even really see from this gameplay. And during the first phase, he will be up and he will be doing a bunch of fire damage to everyone. He'll be launching people from A to B, and the idea is that this is the phase where you can kill him. But after 3 minutes, he will submerge like that and summon a bunch of these smaller Fire Lord, like Son of Flames. And these guys, they hit very hard, and they also mana drain your healers. So you really gotta control these well. This is considered to be the hard phase of the fight. Now, when you kill Ragnaros for the first time, you will almost certainly have to encounter this phase. It's normal that you have to deal with this phase once, and then you kill Ragnaros when he comes back up. But if you look at the percentage of Ragnaros's HP before he submerged, you'll see he's at about 30% HP. And what happens is that as your guild becomes more powerful and as you get better at fighting Ragnaros, you are able to kill Ragnaros before he submerges. And so there is this great alternative progression milestone where you've killed Ragnaros like 7 or 8 times, and then all of a sudden you kill Ragnaros without having to deal with the difficult phase of him submerging. And this is really cool because it's now another notable sign of progression. You and your guild just became a guild that kills Ragnaros in a single phase. That is a great alternative progression milestone. And I've leveraged this idea within my game. So I am making a incremental auto battler RPG game where you have some control over it. And in my game, on the 5th level, the first enemy is this zombie creature. He doesn't have much HP, but you can see right there, he just hit really, really hard. And I want to show that again because my warrior tank just blocked it. But this enemy is designed to almost one-shot the tank. I'm going to do it one more time so it bloody fucking shows. I guess we're getting lucky with the blocks here. There we go. You can see it's almost a one-shot. And so what you want to do when you are first in the graveyard area is to use this strike ability before the zombie gets to the tank. And that's sort of a mechanical little thing I did, but I balanced it in a way that within a reasonable time span, you will start unlocking a bunch of skills for your ranger and such. So let's just increase our ranger and just make him do a little bit more damage, as well as our mage. Let's make our mage do a little bit more damage. And let's do the next run. And now what should happen is that you should be able to kill the zombie before he does damage to your tank. And that right there is an alternative progression milestone, because I no longer had to take damage from the zombie, and I no longer had to use the strike to deal with the zombie. And when you play games, you should list down if you notice any of these alternative progression milestones and just have them on hand somewhere, because when you design games, you will find opportunities to add these alternative progression milestones where you just have to balance things a tiny bit and they will naturally occur. So that's all I really wanted to talk about today. Have a good one, guys. See you later. Bye.